of doing it scared. And I want to start this one off with just encouraging whoever is watching this for the first 3 seconds to do it scared. Everyone has a story and everyone has something to say. And I think, too, everyone has something that deep down inside that they want to do, that they know they should do, and they've been putting it off for months or years or maybe their entire life. And most of the time, that thing that they've put off is because of fear. So that's why I want to start. That's why I wanted to start this, is because I wanted to show that you can do something even when you're scared, even when you don't feel like you have the right thing to say, even when you're not polished, even if it's not perfect. You've got to start somewhere, and everyone can do something like this, and everyone can do the thing that they're afraid to do. And I know it's hard. It's taken me however long. I'm 30 years old, and it's taken me years, months to finally get to the point where I'm like, okay, what would I regret more? Trying and failing, or not doing the thing at all? So this is me trying, and it might fail. I don't know, but I don't care. It's not about that. It's about the doing. It's about the act of doing it. So I'm showing up, and because of Cameron, thanks Cameron, I'll tag you. Because of Cameron, I'm going to be doing this for 100 days, and it's going to be interesting to see the progression of how far along I come if I don't change at all. Like, I'm very interested to see. But I've already noticed some changes of just from doing this for 2 days. The things that I've noticed is that I have all these different ideas now for videos. I'm like, oh, I could talk about this. I could talk about that. I could talk about this other thing. I could talk about fatherhood. I could talk about depression. I could talk about anxiety and all these other things that I'm like, oh man, there's actually a lot that I have to talk about. And I think the act of creating or the act of talking almost puts you in a place to where you are your mind is like forced to come up with something. Your mind is forced to come up with ideas. So you never know. After these 100 days, who knows what's going to come out of it. And I'm really excited to see what's going to come out of it, but I'm also excited just to enjoy the process. And again, I get on here, my hands are like a little bit shaky, my heart is beating fast, and I haven't even posted this yet, but it's like just the thought of posting it, just the thought of putting it out there, just the thought of looking stupid. And that's why I'm going to continue, I think, doing this in the morning. I thought about doing it in the night because for some reason by nighttime I have all these different ideas in my mind, like, oh, I should talk about this, I should talk about that, and maybe I'll do some in the night too. I don't know, but for now, I want to do these in the morning because it really, it's like I look the worst, I sound the worst, I don't feel the best first thing in the morning. So I was like, you know what, this is the least perfect. This is the least perfect this thing can be. So again, going back to that question of what would you regret more, and I'm sure that you've probably heard that before, and it's not always enough fuel to propel you to do the thing, but because you have so many fears, because you have all these thoughts and feelings that just keep you from doing it. And listen, I understand. I am not well polished. I am not well spoken. I am not. I have all these beliefs anyway. It's like, am I not, like the power of the I am. I get all of those things too. I've spent years reading books and learning, and I've just used that as a buffer to not do this thing, not put myself out there. And I think a big part of it too is just that I'm scared that, oh, I'm doing this because of ego, in not a good ego way, in a very bad ego way. Like, oh, I'm doing this because I want to be famous, or I want to be cool, or I want to be seen as good, or I want to be seen this way and that way. And when you strip all that, when you take all that away, I realize that ultimately, like deep down, I want to help some people. I have overcome a lot of obstacles in my life, from being overweight, from being suicidal, from extreme crippling anxiety, and financial issues, and a whole host of other things. And I know that I have some wisdom to share, or at least if it's not wisdom, I at least have some story to share or something to say. And instead of just doing journaling like I usually do, I'm like, well, I think it'd be cool to put this out there for the world. And also, it would be cool to look back on, because when I'm 80 years old, if I make it to 80 or 60 or 50 or whatever, if when I get a little bit older, I can look back on this thing and cringe a little bit, but also be like, man, be proud. I can be proud because I can say, dude, you did it. You did the thing that you said you were going to do. You did the thing that you wanted to do. And I know it was hard, because I can have empathy for my past self, and I know it was hard for you, and I know you were shaking, and I know you had all this resistance in the morning to not do it. You made up every excuse. Dude, guys, this morning, I literally, like, I'm sitting here at my computer for probably 20 minutes drinking coffee and just thinking of all the reasons of why I don't have to do this thing. And then also telling myself that it's like, well, I'm doing this for the wrong reasons. I'm doing this to just bolster myself up. I'm doing this because I want to matter, and I need to matter within myself. All the stuff. And I'm literally like sitting here for 20 minutes just doing nothing, because I'm just trying to come up with an excuse that's valid. I'm trying to come up with a story that's valid to say that, oh yeah, dude, of course you didn't do this thing. But trust me, a lot of the excuses, they're real, and a lot of the things that I came up with are valid points. But the thing is, I'm committing to doing this for 100 days, so now I'm going to show up for 100 days, at least every day, doing this. Getting on camera and talking unscripted, unfiltered, messy, and being really scared doing it. So this is day 3 of doing it scared, and ultimately, I just want you to ponder that question of what would you regret more, doing it or not doing it at all. And if I can do it, and this is what's going to be beautiful about this, is people are going to be able to see that, this is where I started. And who knows? I don't even know if anything's going to come. I don't know where this is going to go, or if anything's going to come of this, and that's okay. But it's like, I just want other people to get the courage to do the thing too. And realize that, and it doesn't necessarily have to be video, but maybe it's performing on stage, maybe it's speaking, maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's talking to your parents, or it's talking to that boy or girl that you've always wanted to talk to, whatever it is. Like, just doing the thing anyway, despite all the feelings, despite the scaredness, despite feeling like you're not enough, and despite feeling like, oh, who am I to say anything? Well, that's another thing, and we can talk about this another time, because I actually like talking about this subject, is that you actually matter. And you have to realize that you matter more than anything else in the universe. And if you can't realize that, if you can't try to get the courage to realize that, no one else will. And I have been so privileged to meet some amazing people in my life, to where they have breathed life into me, really. They have said that I matter. So I want to be the person that breathes life into you and say that you matter, so you can start breathing life into yourself and say that you matter and do the thing. You deserve whatever it is that you want to go after, because you're here. You're here on Earth. And guys and gals and girls and guys, it doesn't, like, the chances of you being here is so slim. It's so slim. And I just need you to know that you matter more than anything else in the entire universe. And that's true for every single person. And I know it's like, well, how can, if they matter, how can I matter? It's because you're here. It's because that God, universe, puts you here. You're alive, so therefore you matter. And you need to show up for yourself and act as if you do matter. And that literally can trickle into, once you realize and believe that can trickle into every aspect of your life. Suddenly you can start working out because you're like, man, I do matter. I do deserve to work out. And it seems silly to think that, oh, that's a deserving thing. It's like, oh, working out sucks. But when I realize that I deserve to feel good or look good, oh, okay. How do you feel good and look good? Well, let's look at the people that feel good and look good. They're working out. They're eating healthy. They're having all these habits that are good for their body and their mind. So it's like, okay, you have to start showing up for yourself. Anyway, this has turned into a longer video than I kind of wanted it to, but I was like, oh, I'll just do 5 minutes today. Isn't that funny? When you start talking, you realize, oh, there is a little bit in here. There's a little bit of stuff that I have to say, and I think that's really cool. So you never know. You never know. Like, just open up a webcam and start talking and see what happens. I think it'd be cool. And I don't know, maybe by day 50 I'll have a bunch of other people that are doing it scared. I think I'm gonna start using that hashtag because that just like resonated with me in a big way. So day 2 of doing it scared. What would you regret more? Doing it or not doing it? Trying or not trying? You can use whatever techniques you need to use to get your body over the fear, but I think that the only thing that you can do in this instance, I'll use this as an example, is hit record and talk and see what happens. And same goes for anything else in your life. Do the thing, see what happens. And if you fail, if you make a mistake, if you mess up, it's okay. You're human. You're human. And part of being human is making mistakes and messing up. It's okay. We all look like buffoons and idiots at some point in our life. Doesn't matter. Look at me. I'm a mess. I'm a mess. But it's all right. It doesn't matter. It's okay. I'm doing the thing, and that's what matters. So, thank you for watching. If you made it all this far, 11 minutes in, wow, that's crazy. But if not, that's okay too. I love you. I thank you for being on this planet at the same time that I am. I'm so excited to see what you create. I'm so excited to see what I create. I'm so excited to see life unfold.